So today we are going to see the discussion of active optical components. So far you have discussed about the passive optical components like circulators, isolators, fiber gratings, diffraction gratings, like that. Those are passive because they will not require any external power for their operation. Hello. And moreover, we have also seen how to implement other applications like add drop multiplexers using those passive components. If we'll go back there, so we have seen how to implement uh, coupling of four wavelengths by the lens mechanism using thin film filter. So these are the thin film filter using Fabry-Perot cavity as we have discussed yesterday. Similarly, we've gone through uh, demultiplexer action with the help of diffraction gratings, where the reflection grating is made up of a pile of thin layers of different characteristics which are able to reflect back a particular wavelength. No processing or that we have to identify particular wavelengths and then we have to reflect it back. So two things will be saved here and automatically the different layers what it has been made up of is automatically going to selectively reflecting back the unique wavelengths. Another one is chirped fiber grating. So it's a main feature we have seen is it is going to reflect back a particular wavelength for which it is tuned. So tuning function here it is performed by the different widths of these gratings and their spacing between them. So as the signal will travel or propagate through this uh, the cavity structure, so its velocity shorter wavelength, it will allow to travel a longer distance through this cavity. So thereby it is going to compress your pulse when it is going to reflect it back. So again, the what kind of wavelength will be reflected back depends on the width and spacing of these gratings. So next we have seen the implementation of add drop multiplexer using fiber grating filters using two 3-port circulators and one fiber grating filter. So here you have seen that here by fiber grating filter is able to reflect only one wavelength at a time. So this feature that it is able to reflect a particular wavelength back is defined by sinusoidal variation of its refractive index. The refractive index is not fixed. It is varying as a function of sine wave. So like that it has been structured so that it can be tuned based on the structure to reflect back the particular wavelength. So this feature can be used to these two 3-port circulators. On one side it is going to add and on another side it is going to add and subtract. It is like that it is going to behave like a add and subtract multiplexer. So these are the different wide variety of applications we have seen how the passive components or devices, optical devices could be used in multiplexing here, add drop multiplexer or reflector or splitter you can say or demultiplexer or splitter or you can say a thin film filter which is now able to reflect back a bunch of wavelengths back or coupling more than two or three wavelengths by the lens mechanism using thin film filter. So those are all the applications. I suggest you to remember those applications together. So which is very much important. So you may get a question like discuss the applications based on the passive optical components together, or specifically it has been told based on the certain particular applications like add-drop multiplexer or the application based on the lens mechanism like that. You should be able to recognize or read and understand the question and write properly the answers. So today discussion is active optical components. So active means here the name itself will suggest it requires external power supply to be alive. Then its operation can be used for any specific application. So external energy is required to perform functions or to be used over wide operating ranges. So here under this one, the first one we are getting MEMS technology, micro electromechanical systems, which will be the combined technology of electrical, mechanical, and optical components together to provide sensing and actuation functions. Remember, this is important. Its main functions are two. Sensing, it has to sense what is happening its surroundings and act accordingly. So the functions are defined or implemented with predefined uh, requirements. So such applications includes variable optical attenuators, which are also known as VOAs that we are going to discuss later. Then tunable filters or lasers, etc. So mainly they are used for as a variable function. They are going to vary the attenuation thing, and here can be used as a tunable function. They are going to tune, or here also it is going. They are going to vary some function. So let us see how these MEMS actuation things will happen. So here you can see in this slide context, we have shown two MEMS slabs here during the fabrication process. So upper slab is of dark in color, that is going to indicate dielectric insulator, and below that we got silicon ground plane. So from the silicon ground plane, it is connected to the positive of the external battery and negative is connected to the suspended polysilicon beam. So this polysilicon beam's movement, that this beam is going to move up and down. It is acting like a switch, depending on what voltage you are going to supply. So the thickness or dimensions have been mentioned here, and this figure, the top figure, it is going to indicate how the structure will appear the MEMS technology using MEMS technology during the off position. So polysilicon beam, the dimensions, volume dimensions he has given 80 by 10 by 0.5 micrometer cube, and the dimension of this one is going to be 0.6 micrometer. So with the zero biasing voltage, your beam will be kept at a distance away from this dielectric insulator. The gap will be there, and this is what it is happening during the off position. So in the beginning, now suppose if you increase the voltage just beyond the zero, then the beam structure will be suspended like this in the curvature fashion, and it is coming in contact with the dielectric insulator. This is going to indicate the on position. Means this is actually the off and on positions what you are observing. Means it is simply the beam, its upward and downward motion is resembling our switching action on and off position. That is known as a actuation function. So sensing and actuation is there. In that we are observing the actuation part. So what is sensing? According to some sensing, suppose assume that it is sensing some physical quantity. Accordingly, the voltage is going to vary here. If it is not sensing means zero voltage, then actuation means it is going to be in the off position. If it is sensing something in its surroundings, then its voltage will be not equal to zero. In that case, it will be in coming in contact with the insulator. The beam is coming in contact with the insulator. That is the actuation part. That is the on position it is indicating. So standard silicon technology is going to be used in the MEMS technology. So more stiff materials are required. Why? So more stiffer the material, more voltage is required to deflect it. Less stiff silicon materials require 6 orders of magnitudes less voltage. So more stiffer means we can easily because voltages in terms of 1, 2, 3 voltages in terms of not in terms of micro or millivolts, we can easily generate and reliably you can make use of these voltages compared to smaller one, because otherwise you have to regenerate them. So that's why he is telling making use of the most stiff materials here. So more voltage to deflect. So for the most stiff materials, less voltage to deflect for the less silicon materials. So that's why these are known as CMEMS. C here it can be interpreted in different ways. So it will be indicating a capacitor, it will be indicating the compact or any other different varieties of names will be there. So CMEMS we are observing in this. So this technology uses a soft rubber-like materials like elastomers, so which can be strapped even more beyond 300% and opposed to less than 1% of the silicon. So this is about this MEMS technology. So more mechanical deflection or higher range of motion than silicon, if it is required, we will go for the SI MEMS, that is known as silicon MEMS. So two technologies he is elaborating here. One is silicon MEMS, another one is C MEMS, and their CAT6 has been elaborated here. So this is all about the first kind of active optical component under MEMS technology we have seen, CMEMS and SIMEMS. So remember the key issues what you have to explain under this MEMS technology is how it can be used as a sensing and actuation function serving mechanism. Those things only you have to focus under this MEMS technology. Remember this is it is acting like or serving like one of the active optical component. Next one, we got variable optical attenuator. Just now we have mentioned there. So variable optical attenuator means we have to vary the attenuation as per the requirement or the gain requirement. So as such, the precise active signal level control is required in DWDM networks. That is a dispersed wavelength division multiplexing. Another one we got coarse wavelength division multiplexing. So in DWDM, so more accurate control of the optical signal level is required. For example, all wavelength channels going out of an amplifier, so which are coming out of this particular amplifier, all wavelengths, lambda, suppose lambda 1 to lambda 5, then we need to have the same gain level. We don't want lambda 1 is coming out with different amplification level and lambda 5 is coming with less amplification level. So amplifier here we wanted to have to achieve the same gain level. And hence same signal attenuation at the receiver is required to avoid photodetector saturation. The gain level will start varying dynamically at the receiver side, that is at the photodetector point of view, then automatically it will be got saturated. So in order to avoid that problem, we are focusing on maintaining a stable gain level of the optical amplifier. Means we want all wavelengths which are to be amplified with the same magnitude level. So attenuates, in such case, the amplifier is going to attenuate the optical power with the dynamic signal level control, which is going to be independent of the polarization. Means orientation of the field components of the optical signal that you are about to amplify. So it should be independent of that orientation of the field components, and it should not depend on wavelength with low insertion loss. So these two things will matter if you are going to design the optical amplifier with this dynamic signal level control or attenuation control. So the control mechanisms, again, once again, as you have seen in the previous context, MEMS technology, actuation mechanisms. Hello. Yes. So we are here. So there are different control mechanisms that we are discussing under variable optical attenuators, which could be either mechanical methods, which are found to be more reliable, but low dynamic range and response time they are providing because of their wear and tear problems. Second one is thermo-optic methods, which are going to give you the wide dynamic range, but they appears to be slow and requires thermoelectric coupling, that is a TEC. And the third one is a MEMS, that is electrostatic actuation technique, which is going to provide you the voltage change across the electrodes. That itself is acting like electrostatic actuation mechanism. And this requires a low power levels and much faster as compared to mechanical and thermo uh, optic methods. So wavelengths in this way required are to be either added the applications digitally of the applications of VOS. It can be used in adding the wavelengths or dropping the wavelengths, add drop multiplexers like that, or to route the wavelengths in a DWDM networks. VOA manages the optical power fluctuations as well, simultaneously propagating the wavelength signal. Means it can do two things, routing and uh, what can say managing the power fluctuation. Both the things can be served by this variable optical attenuators. Sometimes it has been asked as a short note, the active optical components. In that case, you have to explain these MEMS and VOs. So another active optical component, what we are getting is going to be tunable optical filters. So this is another important active optical component, which is going to serve your DWDM, that is a dense wide division, wavelength division multiplexing optical networks, which are of two categories, either MEMS based tunable optical filters are there, which are going to provide you the wide tuning range and design flexibility. For example, tunable variation on the classical structure like interferometer applications can be used. We have seen interferometer applications which are used in the thin film filters and fibroperioid cavity resonators. So both have found wide applications. Whereas Bragg rating based tunable optical filters are acting like a filters, bandpass filters, which are very much selective in choosing the particular or specific wavelengths. So which are going to provide you the steep spectral profiles. So as you can see in this graph, which is plotted reflectivity in decibels versus the wavelength, the threshold will be kept around minus 30 decibels reflectivity. And you will be getting this steep spectral profile between 1550 to 1553 technology, nanometer technology. So there you will be getting minus 25 decibels of the peak. So that is with respect to the Bragg rating, means why we are getting this peak, because it is going to choose only those wavelengths which are falling or resembling Bragg's wavelength. That is coming as a peak beyond this threshold. So these the two sets of epitaxially ground semiconductor layers acts like a Fabry-Perot cavity that we've seen. So its operation involves moving one of the mirror precisely by the actuator and changing the distance between, means two mirrors will be there reflecting facets of the Fabry-Perot cavity. You are fixing one mirror and moving the another mirror. So two mirrors separated by the dielectric medium is acting like a filter or a capacitor. That is going to vary the distance between the plates, that itself is going to vary its capacitance or the filtering action, or its actuation, that is selection of different wavelengths. That is decided by how you are going to move one plate with respect to keeping one other plate fixed. So tunable optical filters based on the Bragg ratings are resulting from the stretching and relaxation of the spacing in the fiber grating. That is going to result into the periodic variation of the refractive index along the core. So optical fiber, which is made up of the glass, is stretched with the grating inside of it, going to result into change in the refractive index, and that results into the Bragg wavelength change. So those wavelengths will be selected uh, for this tunable filter. So before stretching and after stretching, what will happen, that we have to elaborate here. So before stretching of this fiber grating filter, which is made up of two epitaxial layers, the tuned wavelength or center wavelength lambda c of this fiber grating filter is equal to an integer multiple of n effective, 2n effective, zeta. N effective means effective Ri of the fiber containing the grating. Zeta, it will indicate the period of the index of variation of the grating. So before stretching, it is waiting for the wavelengths happening closer to this lambda c, that is equal to 2n effective into 0. After elongating by a distance of delta zeta, that results into change in the center wavelength delta lambda c. So such optical filters are going to operate in SC and L bands over 13 and 10 nanometer region. Stretching techniques again are either thermoelectric or mechanical, piezoelectric, or using stepper motor also you can achieve. So starting from the MEMS technology, uh, actuation could be either uh, mechanical, thermoelectric, or in this case you can say you will be observing piezoelectric or stepper motor also. So thermomechanical methods involves a bimetal diffraction, differential expansion of the bar. So here you can see your optical fiber grating is indicated by this thick lining at the top. To that below at the bottom, we have attached high expansion bar. Inside that and outside it is covering low expansion frame. So heat from onto the filter cooler is going to stretch this the spacing between the high and low expansion bars. So the heating effect, that is thermo mechanical methods will be used here. Bimetal differential expansion bar. Greater than the shape changes, the temperature changes. So the change in temperature is going to result into the change in shape of these expansion bars. That is going to bring the actuation function of this optical fiber grating. So in the second figure, optical fiber grating has been attached with piezoelectric stack. So the temperature induced by this heating effect or filter cooler effect results into the uh, change in length in the fiber grating. So this method is going to be inexpensive, slow, takes more time to stabilize and having the very limited tuning range. So that's why thermomechanical method is rarely used. The second one, in the piezoelectric technique, material changes its length when voltage is applied here. So we'll get the precise wavelength selection, more expensive because piezoelectric things are more costlier, complex to implement and limited tuning range will be achieved. The third one, we are getting the stepper motor mechanism. We are able to control the actuation function of this optical fiber grating. Here the stepper motor changes the length of the fiber grating lining by pulling or relaxing in the end of the structure. It has a moderate cost, reliable and reasonable tuning speed. So compared to all the three mechanisms, the last one using the stepper motor appears to be more reliable and reasonable one. So like that, you try to compare the methods also as it has not been given here. So in this way, you are able to elaborate the things here. So under active optical components, we have seen MEMS technology, VOS, variable optical attenuators, and tunable optical filters with different actuation mechanisms. So hope this one we come to an end of this section, that is WDM section of the model 4. So optical amplifiers we'll see in the next section. So up to this you have to read for your CI2 model 3 complete and model 4 what I have covered till now. So optical amplifiers we'll see in the next session. We'll stop now.